to Follow the Money. I'm China Barachina. Here we uncover the stories and strategies of how money really moves. Welcome back to Market Marites, your dose of market talk with a twist. In our last episode, we talked about Ghost Month, the Chinese periods, and how sentiment and timing quietly influence where investors put their money. 2 weeks later, that story continues to unfold. The PSE index slipped below 6,000 mark before managing a slight rebound on bargain hunting. Inflation remains stubborn, oil prices are volatile, and the peso is once again testing the 57 level against the dollar. Add to that the noise of corruption headlines and the kulelat label pinned on the local market, and you can feel why investors have turned cautious. Still, the market isn't without movement. Some sectors are starting to show quiet shifts beneath the surface, hinting that sentiment might be changing. And that's exactly what we'll explore today. What changed, what's holding steady, and where could the next spark of demand come from? Joining me once again, the main whose market reads always get people talking, Dennis Lim.
Hi, China.
Ano, ready ka na? Okay. In terms of, meron tayo ipapasabog ngayon. May mga bagong terms tayong ibibigay dito sa Market Marites. Ito naman ay by demand lang ng, pinaghandaan ko ang guesting mo. Tayo mo naman, naka-amen suit ako today. Thanks, amen. So, follow through. Ano yung natin? What was the last for the last 2 weeks? Where were the significant things that happened?
I think, nothing has changed sa tutusin. The market sentiment has continued to incentivize trading and investor behavior, right? Gold is still king. In fact, it's up around 50+% in the past month, no? And then global markets are still on risk on, and local markets are still risk off, meaning investors are still buying the dip on the S&P 500 and investors are still selling the rally in the PSEI. And we've transitioned from the ghost month to ghost projects. So.
Oo nga. Pero were you able to see the change in the volume after ghost month, or mas pa? Imagine what was lost, what was wiped out. In
terms of volume, I think traders and investors are still hyped on the, well, it's not hyped, no, but they're still bullish on the gold trade, right? And recent events have encouraged investors to rely more on hard assets, especially because of the recent events that have happened in France and in Japan, right? So we have some political turmoil in France. So their prime minister, who's just been in office for 26 days, who hasn't even delivered his inaugural speech, already resigned. He's the third prime minister. So President Macron is in a bind right now. So there's a political paralysis happening in France. And to think that France is the second largest economy in the EU, so that is bringing more uncertainty into the markets.
Alam mo, naalala ko tuloy yung period sa pinag-usapan natin na may mga nag-violent reaction. Pero I mean, it's happening. Like, hindi naman it's inevitable that, like, ayan, alam mo yung mga unusual na nababalita na about different governments. Nagkakaroon ng
it's still the AI trade, which is high technology, is still gold trade, it's
and then
still
the wars, and then the conflicts
and then
within.
the conflicts.
Diba?
Ganyan mangyayari.
Masyadong fire. But given that, so are you saying that what stood out in the last 2 weeks is mining sector?
Mining pa rin talaga. As mentioned, the mining sector is probably up around 50% in month on month.
Yes.
So those who have bet on mining ever since have continues to reap the rewards until now. Hindi pa natatapos, even Felix Mining is enjoying a rally.
Yeah, true. And I read din na year-to-date naman ng silver, which is precious metals related to that, at 65% up. Sa tingin mo, hahabol talaga?
Yeah, that's we are seeing an influx of money flows, going into hard assets. And again, this plays into the uncertainty that investors are anticipating moving forward. So remember, some of the biggest economies right now, so we have to look at the global situation.
Yeah.
Gold is not going up because our political situation is bad.
Yeah.
Gold is going up because the global economy, there's something happening there.
Yeah.
So the top global nations, Japan, Italy, France, US, their debt to GDP ratio is one of the highest. The highest country with the debt among the G20 countries, the highest country with the country with the highest debt to GDP ratio is Japan. And they've recently elected their first female prime minister, si Takaishi, Senei Takaishi. So she's a fiscal dove.
Is this the first time?
The first female, no, first female. So she's a fiscal dove. She believes in Abenomics, so right? So it's more government stimulus, etc. So
Do
meaning,
you see like a change in the dynamics of the culture when it comes to like economic policies because of that?
it's not a change, but more of a continuation. Remember, Japan is famous for its carry trade because Japan's interest rate is so low.
Yes.
They've hiked interest rates to like 1.5, and with this new prime minister who's a fiscal dove, they might reduce that again, bringing back the carry trade. So government stimulus, etc., will now debase currencies. Like so, what's happening in France? All this borrowing will debase currencies. So part of the rally in gold is really based on the debasement trade. So investors are anticipating that currencies will weaken, and if they are going to weaken, we'll go to a safe hedge, which is silver and gold. So it is just, the story just keeps piling up. Gold, gold, gold.
Grabe, no? Kasi yesterday, I was with a technical analyst of TAP, and she was very consistent that she wants gold and silver. And it's like consistently, and she was just looking at the charts. And now that you're telling the story behind what the chart is saying, it really speaks about something, like it gives a lot of weight in the precious metals. But the question is, ito na makikimarites ako, baka may alam ka, how come our country is selling it? Diba, ang central bank is selling it, not yung mga ibang countries are buying it. I mean, I don't know if we bought back, pero baka may alam ka dyan.
Hindi natin alam yan. They have their own decision-making.
But if you come to think of it, like as an economist, what should be the reaction, diba? If everyone, like globally, the demand is to pick the gold and to get it, I was just wondering why. So,
alam mo na, well, most traders are really FOMO, right? Bitcoin is also up, which justifies also the debasement trade. They're going into non-forex assets right now. So it's FOMO, right? Everybody's just jumping into the bandwagon. I want to join. And for me, will it go up? Minsan kasi, pagka nagiging ganito ka bullish,
nakakatakot na, no?
Ano na eh, it's, you know, when people are greedy, then you become fearful. But, you know, this greed in gold has been going on for a long time.
Yes. And there was a banker in the US, I remember, that he was so bullish in gold. And no one is, some economists were actually laughing at him during that time, and now probably he's the one laughing. I forgot his name, but was there any stocks that caught your attention last 2 weeks?
Any stock that caught my attention?
Yeah, that rallied, like, surprisingly.
Among the high market cap stocks, no, none really. What's really surprising is that I mean, the REITs have went down significantly.
Yes.
Despite the BSP cutting rates. No? They've just cut rates today, 25 basis points. So I'm not sure if it's going to cause a bump there, but the surprising sector really is properties. Why is it going down, no, despite all of this? So.
Which brings me to what I was fearing, like probably the last 2-3 years, the rise of the property bubble. Like, I know for a fact that a lot of economists and traders have been waiting for the property to eventually correct. Like, kaya yung iba hindi bumibili ng condos, hindi bumibili ng properties because, 'di ba?
Iba kasi yung inventory that you're trying to push out, and iba yung the inventory is already sold,
yes,
and you're renting it out.
Yes.
So it's a wonder why REITs went down. But actually, it's still a good opportunity. One should see this as an opportunity a second opportunity at least to get REITs at a high yield. No? Because a lot of people have been saying, oy, mahal na. Eh, ngayon mura na. So,
yes,
why are we complaining?
Yun yung nantay, diba?
So, this is it, right?
So, pag-usapan naman natin the news that came that kulelat, CPSE, amongst the Asian nations. Sabihin na natin, Southeast Asia nga lang eh. And we have been waiting for the 10,000 mark, I think, at least 10 years ago. And, I mean, is that a fair description? Or is it just unfairly marked because of what's happening or what's going on?
Among the major indices, the three kulelats are Thailand, Malaysia, and Philippines.
Yes.
With Philippines being the most kulelat of the kulelats. So, well,
pero alam mo, meron akong naisip eh. Is it possible na ma-stop to? Because a lot of people are now into crypto. Diba? How about fractionalization? Do you think fractionalization will help at least ma-revive itong kulelatism na nangyari sa atin ngayon?
Alam mo, those things, yung mga reducing the sales tax, shorting, fractional trading, those are just gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
If you have a business and you just rely on gimmicks, that's not sustainable. At the end of the day, your business should have integrity. Your business should have a quality product. So let's think about the integrity and the quality of our economy. That would carry the markets through, not the
Nako, painit na ng painit. We're just warming up. Follow the Money returns after a short break. Welcome back to Follow the Money. Still with us is Dan Slim, Equities Manager of Abacus Securities, and Michael Marites. So, Dens, alam mo, di ba, napag-usapan na Maynila will have an IPO. So, ano ka ba doon? Bullish, bearish, NA?
NA.
Bakit?
No. Well, they've tried to IPO and it's pushed back, no. So that alone already sends some signals that there's something going on behind the scenes, no. Of course, when you IPO, you have to hype it. You don't really go to market and say there's something wrong. That's why we have to postpone. But from 20 and then it became 15, medyo magulo pa. And usually, but in essence, my philosophy here is I don't subscribe to IPOs.
Okay.
I will let the market decide the price, not the owners of the company. If the market says it's priced higher, then fine. It's okay if I miss out. But, the markets may say it's not 15, so then it's good. But I want the market to tell me what the right price is, not a company. Ganon yung philosophy.
I think I see you as being in your economist side and fundamentalist side. What I'm trying to check in IPOs like this, kung may demand. Kasi my conflict there when I'm trying to decide if it's a good buy or not is the market is really low right now. I mean, the sentiment, walang excitement. Remember the time na may IPO was yung time ni X, time ni ang
Even
hype
long
naman,
before, even
diba?
Petron. If you think about
Nako,
the Petron
baby pa
IPO,
ako, hindi ko na maalala yun eh.
there's a T-shirt that says, I survived the Petron IPO. It was that crazy. Oh, may ganon.
Kasi hindi lahat, sometimes I will get an IPO because of the certain excitement. Pero I get out then. So ikaw ba yung tipo na if I'm not gonna get this in the span of how many months, di bale na, wag na natin kunin. That's how you view it.
I will wait for the market to decide.
Gusto mo muna makita yung price action.
Actually, the only IPO I got is AREIT. That's it.
Oh,
Yun lang yun.
Okay.
And when it went down, I bought more. Because it was a different business model.
Yes, and it was the first time that we released REITs, right? At so, ito naman, naisip ko lang, when it comes to the sentiment, and alam mo yun, baka mamaya, wag naman sana, yung tipong baka dahil langawin, di ba? Hindi ayaw naman natin nun, na kasi kawawa naman yung bibili. But in the price of 20 pesos, medyo namamahalan ka ba?
A bit. Yeah. Especially when the market is priced like 2 standard deviations below mean. Right? You can't fairly price anything right now.
Yes.
Everything has to be a discount. So,
And knowing that this is should be considered as a defensive stock because it's a utility, my God, yung tubig namin sa bahay, laging walang tubig. I mean, sana ma-solve din nila yun, no? Knock-knock, Maynila. Diba? Para, kasi if there's the best way to promote the IPO is makikita mo sa kalsada ngayon, almost half of the road is sila yung may pinapagawa sila. Hindi naman siya ghost project and 'di ba? So parang kailangan din makakita ng ginhawa talaga yung mga tao so they can create confidence, especially on a market like this. So given that, natama na baka ma-plug tayo. But given that, ako naman as a consumer lang, 'di ba? As Peter Lynch will always say, what is the demand creating? Is natutuwa ba, nai-inlove ba yung tao sa produkto? That's when they subscribe.
But, let's talk about the bull case, right?
Okay.
Water in the Philippines is a necessity. Alam mo, we have a saying in the Philippines, hindi bali mawalang kuryente, wag lang mawalan ng tubig.
Totoo yan.
Right? So,
ganyan ka-importante.
If you think about it, it should be a more attractive commodity than Meralco, if you think about it. So, again, I just want the market to decide because I already have Manila Water and I'm happy with it. So, let's see what happens with Maynila. They are 2 different managements, right? And if I compare the management of one to the other, yung isa medyo may konting governance issues.
Oh,
Previous alam naman natin, it's not a secret.
Alam naman, it's not a secret.
So,
and it's not a secret na may construction.
Right.
It's not a secret na nawawala ng tubig, diba?
So, I want the market to decide.
Yeah.
Then,
bakit ang safe mo? Hindi ka ganyan. So, ito na yung gusto nating iparating sa mga tao. It's really important na meron tayong packaging sa mga stocks for them to remember. And this is like, gusto kong introduce. Ano ba yung gusto mong i-introduce na we are introducing
well,
ano ba tong mga taggings na gagawin mo?
When I look at what stocks to monitor, right?
Yes.
So I have a list, no?
A list, yan.
Alam naman to ng subscribers ko. There's a list that I call Trends with Benefits.
Trends with Benefits?
Iba to.
Okay, nakikita
Trends
natin
with
ng
Benefits to. So,
sige, tignan nga natin. Ano ba yung Trends with Benefits na yan?
Trends with Benefits. So we have a column where there's a bullish stocks that are bullish.
To the moon.
Ayan, may mga to the moon. Siyempre, kung may to the moon, may to the hell.
So, pag to the moon, is it something na, wag muna, dahil nasa taas pa?
Well, ganito yan. We call it trends with benefits because don't go against the trend, right?
Trend
if it's
is your
going
friend.
up, the trend is, trend is your friend until it bends, right? So when it's going up, you just capitalize on its direction. Don't go against the flow. If something is bearish and you're expecting it to reverse, that's a harder movement than just going straight forward.
Okay.
Right? So when you have the buy the dips there, that means it's going up, there's a dip, then you buy, and because
Abang.
it's supposed to continue going up.
So dapat yung
right?
buy the dip, abangers.
You buy it. Hindi na bangers.
Yeah.
Kasi merong
You buy
gitna yan
na.
yung mga may midlife crisis
Yung
na
pangalawa
stocks.
naman, what's the second one? The second section is...
May mga midlife crisis na stocks yan eh.
Nandito ka
Yung
na ba, Des?
yung mga stocks na hindi nila alam kung saan nila gusto pumunta. So medyo they're range trading, So either they're range going up, going down. So we are still waiting for some catalyst, either they break out or they break down. So nasa midlife
Sino
crisis
bang mga
sila.
una sa mga midlife crisis na yan? Kung itatap mo yan, anong pinaka...
Go with those going up kasi they're already going up, so chances are they'll break out. So because if they're trending down, they might break down. So medyo abanger si up, no? But I would buy the dip on the bullish
Tingnan mo, kung
stocks.
nagsasubscribe kayo sa channel din, hindi sana nakuha nyo na to ng maaga. Okay, going. Then the last is kung may to the moon, may to the hell. Patay tayo dyan. This is the bearish, diba?
These are bearish stocks. Again, don't fight the trend.
Yes,
If
don't
momentum
catch the falling knife. Sabi
hindi
nga
naman
nila.
siya falling knife, but wait for conditions to give you an indication that they are reversing.
So not yet naman falling knives.
Hindi naman sila falling knife.
Okay, sige. Safe naman. So, because I'm interested in the bearish side, I'm looking at Converge.
They could present some opportunities, but remember third quarter earnings are coming up, so we have to see if earnings are still affected. So remember their second quarter earnings, they were affected by floods.
Yeah.
We haven't had any break from floods recently, so that's something we also need to look out for. Technical wise, medyo meron siyang konting angat.
Okay. When it comes to the recent, we were saddened by the recent earthquake sa Cebu. Was there a business that, na hit because of this, na listed? Well,
among the REITs, the highest exposure would be a REIT. I would say around 13% siguro or so of their portfolio is there. Pero wala naman effect, no?
Naalala ko lang, top line is actually based in diba, Cebu. So kung meron tayong trends with benefits, syempre may mga situationship din. Ano yung mga situationship stocks natin na that's giving you mixed signals. Magbigay ka ng mga ilan-ilan dyan.
Alam mo yung trends with benefits sa situationships, it's what it really means is something temporary, right?
Yes.
And when we think about stocks, we shouldn't really fall in love with stocks, right? So kaya dapat yan mga trends with benefits lang yan, tsaka situationships. Because don't fall in love with the stock, basically. Kaya nga merong unspoken rule, 'di ba? Sinasabi nating huwag mag-I love you sa trends with benefits.
Ayun! Ayan na naman. Marami na naman tayong pinasabog today, Dan Slim. But if there's one thing that we want to watch out for in the coming days, ano kaya yun?
Well, a lot of people are asking me, what's gonna happen to the Philippines? Kawawa naman ang Philippines. But if you are going to look for a silver lining with all of this, now that this is exposed, right? Moving forward, I mean, we've been operating with ghost projects and misaligned funds for how many years?
Yes.
And now we are probably entering into
Hindi
a
naman
phase.
yan bago. Kaya ngayon lumaki.
Hindi naman sa
diba?
hindi nagbago, but people are more careful now.
Yeah.
So, are we looking forward to more misaligned funds? I don't think so. Right? So, if you think about it, things should
get better.
Get
At
better.
least.
Right? At least. Spending, are we saying spending is going down? Not necessarily, because spending may not have actually been up before. So how can it go down?
Yeah,
right?
makes
So
sense.
who knows? Probably money is now going to be spent this time around
okay.
because of the
The real
exposés.
spent, they
right?
will be really spent this time.
Yun ang silver lining,
Yeah.
but sana tama.
Yeah.
But
And we will find out in the next 2 weeks pagbalik mo, Dan Slim. So thank you so much
you.
for today's episode of Market Marites. It's always been a pleasure to have you in the studio.
thank you.
And that wraps up this week's Market Marites. The market keeps moving, sentiments keep shifting, and there's always something new to decode every 2 weeks. As Howard Marks once said, the biggest investing errors come not from factors that are informational or analytical, but from those that are psychological. It's a good reminder because at the end of the day, market mirrors human emotion. We'll see you for another round of Market Marites in the next 2 weeks. And if there's any particular stock or sector you want us to talk about on air, tell us on the comments section below. We might feature your pick next time. And thanks for Amen for my suit today. And with that, I'm China Barachina. Stay curious, stay sharp, and always follow the money.